Alrighty, am I streaming? Oh, I might be. This is my first time streaming on Linux. Is it working? It's working. I think it's working. Okie dokie. This is the first time of many things. It's not my first dev stream. I have done dev streams before. But a long time ago. But this is my first time streaming on Linux. So let's make sure things are working. Let's have a listen to this. Okay, yep, things appear to be working. Alrighty. First time streaming on Linux. I bought a new capture card a while ago so that I could do this. Because the capture card I had wouldn't work with Linux. And then I bought a new one, and then I never actually got around to doing a stream. Anyway, I am very, very early in developing something that looks terrible right now. So I'm making a game for Confounding Calendar 2023. So which means it needs to be ready by the end of the month. So I have an idea. I've implemented that idea in PuzzleScript, which I don't have here. It's on my MacBook. I'll get it if I need it, but I think for now I won't actually need it. So I have like the concept's kind of done. I kind of know what the puzzle's going to be like. The details of the puzzle I haven't figured out. I basically got the kind of premise and what I want to do in mind. However, I don't want to do it in PuzzleScript. I want it to be a kind of platformer, kind of inspired by Magic Cube. And we're gonna have there's so many issues to fix. I mean, I'm nowhere right now. Like right now, there's like, like I'm implementing. Everything's a mess. It's all hacked together. I started writing this today at the local Edinburgh game dev meetup. It's all hacked together, which I'm fine with. I'm going to continue hacking things together. It's the best way. But I might tidy it up as we go as well. Also, if anybody's watching and could let me know if audio is okay, because this is my first time streaming on Linux, so all my settings might be wrong. I might need to sort stuff out. Hopefully stuff's readable. Is text readable, or is it like tiny? It's probably tiny. I can obviously zoom in on it if I need to. But then I don't know how much I want to zoom, because then I'll lose my ability to read so much code. But yeah, like this is super early at the moment. And I'm basically doing it entirely in like vanilla JavaScript. Nothing fancy at all. Creating canvases, drawing on a canvas. Doing my own physics, which is basically the bit I'm working on right now, because I kind of want like Magic Cube style platforming. Like you'll see right now, like sure there's collision on the floor, but there's no collision upwards. And there's things like if I jump into this platform, I'll snap like on top of it, which is not intended. Also, the thing I noticed immediately as soon as I started, because I was working on my MacBook at the local game dev meetup. The thing I noticed immediately when running it on here is that it's incredibly slow. This feels like half the speed of how it feels on my MacBook. So that might be the first thing I have to figure out. Like, why is it half the speed? What's going on? I'm using request animation frame for my updates, which I believe is usually at 68 frames per second. I did just run it's gone now, so let me do it again. Okay, so one thing I did earlier is I got it rendering. So like, there's an off-screen canvas that I'm rendering to. So all these like blocks are actually just 8 pixels by 8 pixels on that off-screen canvas, and then I'm rendering that off-screen canvas to the main canvas, scaling it up. But I'm trying to keep the pixels from being blurry. Hey folks. My voice is loud in the left channel on the right. That doesn't sound ideal. Okay, how do I figure that out? Why would that happen? So this is my first time streaming on Linux. I am making a kind of 2D platformer puzzle thing. Yep. Properties. Device that. Oh, Linux audio stuff. It's awful. So in OBS it's balanced. Oh, there's no balance at all. What if I make it mono in OBS? Does that sound better? Although it didn't have there's no like left-right balance at all. That's better? Okay, cool. Is my voice quiet? How is it compared to the music? The music, I've just got Lofi Girl going, because apparently you can use Lofi Girl in streams. Sure. And then what was the other thing I was going to do? I was going to check like the Ubuntu audio settings maybe, but I guess if it sounds fine. Okay, cool. Sounds good. Sounds good. All right, so I just did this a second ago and noticed that like there's no issues here basically. This is running, these frames are running at 60 frames per second, so 16 and a bit milliseconds per frame. None of them are being lost, so it's just running slower despite running at the same tick rate. Part of me is wondering if it's because I'm defining all my motion in terms of pixels. No, that can't be it, because so all my motion is like my physics define like pixels per frame effectively. Like I've got a bunch of, this is really scrappy, please don't judge. But like the gravity here is like it's like pixels per frame pixels per frame square. It's acceleration, but it's in pixels. And all this stuff down here. And on MacBook, it's like a Retina display. I was thinking maybe it's to do with the fact I'm defining it in terms of pixels, but I'm defining it in terms of pixels on the off-screen canvas, which should be the same size on both. Yeah, it will be, because I'm doing that by specifically setting the size of the canvas. This has definitely become a mess already. Render canvas width is the level width times the sprite dimensions. I should rename that to like cell dimensions. So each cell is 8 by 8. So why is everything slower? This is the first mystery. Everything's like, I'm curious if I like double everything, does it feel the same? One thing to check actually is, how do you actually, oh gosh, go away Chrome. This is what Chrome suggests to be for trending searches. Sure. Chrome, well, JavaScript, pixel device ratio, you can get it somehow. Device pixel ratio 2, which I think is the same on my MacBook. I'm not using Delta Time, I'm just assuming that everything runs at 60 frames per second, which I know is not ideal, but I may or may not fix that later. Let me go grab my MacBook so I can like compare what the differences are. 1 second. Alrighty. Let me get my chats up better as well. 1 second. Okay. There we go. Okay, let's have a look on my MacBook. To demonstrate, I don't know if this is visible, but when I like move around here, it's like a lot speedier, a lot snappier, but also running at 60 frames. So, what's the difference? What's the device pixel ratio on here? Although if it were higher, you'd expect this one to be faster. So it's also 2, so it's not that. Your game also doesn't use it, and it relies on VSync, so it's slower on my second monitor. Oh dear. Also, you can see I've just copied in my level from PuzzleScript. So I have the PuzzleScript version on here, which I don't want to show too much of because spoilers. And the platforming bit isn't really spoilers, so I can show this. Okay, so it's not that. Let's have a look at, I'm just going to do some logs and figure out like where the difference might be coming from. So, and let me just compare. I'm just going to like, on both of my devices, do the same thing. Oh yeah, it's so different. It does seem to be half, so it's being halved somewhere. Where do I imagine that might be? Let's actually log the size of the canvas, just in case. I just don't see how that could make sense, but I'm going to do it anyway. Also, that can't be different. That cannot be different. I'll do it anyway. Go to debug, render canvas. Width, render canvas, height. I'm going to do the same thing over here. I mean, no, I mean, those can't be different, so why am I even testing that? Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is log player velocity as it's being updated. Okie dokie. Console.log player velocity y. Okay. Volian 0, are you making a game for the Confounding Calendar? And also, Epic Pika Guy is even, right? I remember there being another Pika person, but EPG, yeah. Yep, hello. Are you making one as well for Confounding Calendar? Okay, let's see what my... Ooh, okay. So as I jump... Let's have a look at that. Maybe. Do you have an idea? Okay, so as I jump... Exactly the same numbers. What? Which isn't surprising. I'd expect the same numbers, but why is it slower? Why is it slower? I love how we're starting with a bug like this. Okay, let me just record my frames on here. Ooh, my MacBook's running at 120 frames per second. There we go, that's why it's slow. Easy, easy answer. Okay, well that's interesting. Okay, I guess I gotta make this frame rate independent. That's fine. What's this game about? How much do I want to say? Well, so I'm making it for the Confounding Calendar. So basically it's going to be a single screen puzzle, because that's the requirement for the Confounding Calendar. There's not going to be any extra screens. There's what you're seeing right now, this layout with all these white blocks everywhere. That is just, I've imported my level from PuzzleScript, And I've basically, for now, in this version of it, I've basically said treat everything that isn't a hash from the level layout as empty space, and everything that is a hash as a wall. At some point, I'll make it load things better. But like, to be honest, this isn't even the puzzle layout. This is just my test layout. But it's gonna be a kind of puzzle platformer. The platform is not really part of it. It's gonna be like a block pushing puzzle, like Sokoban type thing, but with gravity. And the reason I want platforming physics is because I want a mechanism for climbing upwards. Well, there's two reasons. One is that I want a mechanism for climbing upwards that doesn't involve extra mechanics like ladders or whatever, like other mechanisms for going upwards. Or like a lot of puzzle scripts games with gravity will do this by like, if you walk into a block, you just like pop up on top of it or whatever. But I don't want to do it like that. I want to have like proper physics. The other reason is just because I think it's fun to branch out of puzzle script for once. And having played Magic Cube recently, I kind of liked the fact that that was like grid based, but still with platformer physics. It feels a bit more freeing. In terms of like mechanically what it's about, it's going to be a bit of there was a jam recently called the Mechanical Joke Jam, and I didn't make a game for that, but this is going to be a bit of a mechanical joke, basically. The premise is that there's going to be... do I want to say the premise? I'm not going to say the premise for now. I might say it later. Depends how much of this I stream. You're making yours for another jam, but I can submit one level for the calendar. It's not against the rules. I don't think that's against the rules. You could ask. The intention is that each puzzle for the calendar is supposed to be like fairly short to solve as well. Magic Cube was awesome. I loved Magic Cube. It was great. Okay, so we need frame rate independence. Let's sort that out. Let's start defining things in terms of like per second rather than per frame. Should have done that to begin with. So if that was per frame at 30, so then per second would be 0.105 apparently. I'm gonna keep that there just in case. What was it? 0.105. Where's my chat gone? There it is. And then I got a bunch of velocities down here as well. Like this. I should put them all in constant somewhere. But I'm also going to then have to divide these by the frame rate. I need to figure out how I actually get the frame rate. I could do it by delta time, but I'm probably, to begin with, I'm just going to like grab the browser's like render frame rate and just use that. So let's just times these in my browser. So 0.04 times 30. 2. Okay. 2. 0.12. 0.12. Anything else here that needs fixing? That might be everything. Okay. But the stuff that happens in the tick, yes, needs to be divided by the number of frames. How do I get request animation frame rate? The most common refresh rate. Does it tell me how to get the actual refresh rate? I think it's just linked to the display's refresh rate. Yeah, it will generally match the display refresh rate. Is there a decent way to get that? Oh, interesting. Timestamp. Callback functions pass a single argument to get an end time of the previous frame's rendering. So I could do delta time, but I can't be bothered right now. There's gotta be a clear way of just like getting the frame rate right. I don't want to control the FPS, but I mean, maybe... Maybe one of these will tell me. No. Yeah, I know. I could do it with deltas. I guess I just think that if my logic is like making the frames go slower, then that's a different problem to fix. Should I just do it with delta time? I was just hoping, like, as a quick hack, I could just like get the FPS. Oh, here we go. Oh, apparently there is nothing. All right, let's do delta time then. So what did it say about request animation frame? There's a callback. Yep, of course there is, which for me is this tick function, which apparently gets given a timestamp. Let's just have a look at what that is. So I'm on Linux right now. I don't do much development on my desktop. I do it a lot on my MacBook, so there's a little bit of me just getting used to doing stuff. Oh, everything went a lot faster. Okay, so that is just that is a timestamp increasing. It's milliseconds, got it. Is it always milliseconds? There's no milliseconds since time origin. Okay, cool. So what I could do is like take the previous one, the current one. Is that it said though, pass a single timestamp indicating the end time of the previous frame's rendering. Previous frame's rendering. What about now? For window objects, it is equal to document timeline current time. Timestamp is shared between all windows that run the same agents. Timestamp value is also similar to calling forms now at the start of the callback function, but it's never the same value. Because what I actually care about, so what I'm doing is the update for the next frame. Yeah, but like the way browsers are built is that they're built to render, they have like a render loop that's going, and that render loop is tied to the display's refresh rate. So as you can see here in this performance tab, you can see this, right? Yeah. If I zoom in on here, you can see all my frames here, like a 16.7 millisecond frame, 16.7 millisecond frame. And so if you're not ever taking longer than that to run the code each frame, then that'll never slow down. Well, I say never, but in general. And so you can as long as you're not delaying any of the frames, you can basically assume it'll be whatever the refresh rate is. And I was hoping I could just grab that as a quick hack. But yeah, I should do the what's it called? Delta. Yeah, the web isn't used the way it was originally intended. Okay, so we have timestamp. We could just have the previous timestamp. Let's just see how this goes. Previous timestamp. I'm going to be really hacky with this. What do I do the first time? I mean, I could do performance stop now. I basically don't want anything to happen. happen the first time. I just sort of just want to set. Yeah, that'll be fine. That'll probably be fine. I mean, I could just say this is null for now, and then if it's null, then all we do is set it. Yeah, if previous timestamp is null, then we'll set it to timestamp. Otherwise, I'll clean this up in a second. If the previous timestamp is null, we'll set it to that. Oh, and return, and just like not return actually. Okay. I basically want to do all that. If that's not the case, it's fine. Let's just do this up here for now. Then return. Otherwise, well, we don't need to do else because we're returning out of it. So, otherwise, what is the delta? Delta time is timestamp minus previous timestamp. Was it just a number? It was just a number, wasn't it? Well, not quite. It was this. What happens if I even do that? Let's have a look. Yeah, okay, cool. No, hold on, it's still doing the same thing. Am I still logging? Let's get rid of you. I'm not still logging the timestamp, delta time. I guess that doesn't work. It's interesting that it's still logging the total timestamp. Oh, because I'm now not updating previous timestamp, of course. Previous timestamp. Okay, cool. That gives us that. So that's like basically rough estimate of. So it's like a 60th of a second. So that divided by. No, hold on. That. How do I do my maths? So we've got 60 milliseconds. How many 16s go into 1,000? That's what I want to do. How many 16s go into 1,000? That gives me the number of frames per second. Okay. How many 16s? How many of those go into 1,000? I'm going to do it every step of the way. Yep, cool. And so then divide all my things by that, basically. So dividing by that is the same as timesing by 1,000 dividing by delta time. Sure, modern HTML is far from what it used to be. It is funny though to think that it was originally built for like writing documents and having hyperlinked documents that you can jump between, and now it's like got like rendering engines in it and WebGL and high performance timing stuff. Anyway, let's just do what should we call this? Because then I just want this to be a thing. So I'm dividing by this, right? I'm dividing by this. So let's just call this like FPS. I don't need semicolons. I've been swapping between Rust and JavaScript, and I keep putting semicolons at the end of the lines, even though in modern JavaScript it's typical to not put semicolons at the end, even though sometimes you have to avoid ambiguities. But okay, so let's do something like, so this needs to be, do the whole thing. Oh yeah, okay, we'll just do the whole thing. Divided by FPS, divide by FPS, divide by FPS, divided by FPS? Is that everything? Nothing's not working. Whoa. That's really slow. So what's wrong here? Shouldn't this be ending up basically back where it was? So what's that? That is too slow. No, that is something. Like that's falling super fast. FPS is... Oh, yeah, because that was 0.04 before? It's falling very fast. FPS is that. I basically want... What do I want? What do I want the velocity to be every frame? Or shall I just do that down? Hold on. Am I being silly? Oh, also my gravity. Yeah, I'm being silly, right? I should do this as a per second thing and then change it only in... That's my velocity per second. So... Maths. So only do it to the gravity and then over here as well. I'm sort of just randomly guessing at stuff right now. Okay, we're falling very, very slowly. I did increase the gravity, right? To that. It was originally that. Which was basically pixels per frame. Yes. So by timesing that by 30, I made it... Oh. What did I make it? Okay, how's my like left foot and right motion? Really slow. So 60 frames. Oh, this is 60. Oh, I times everything by... Did I times everything by 30? What did I do? I did, didn't I? I did. That's all I've done. It's just I should have times by 60. Okay. 4. And I'm probably still messing up my... like where I'm dividing by the frames per second. Yeah, I've got the mechanics pretty much all sorted out, and I know I can make a puzzle out of it, but I don't quite have the puzzle sorted out. Okay, now what? So I'm setting so the velocity is just going to be in like per second. So then why would I divide that? I wouldn't divide that. I would just divide at the end, right? Okay. Why can't I jump? I mean, that I could jump before though, couldn't I? Yeah. Oh, because of this. This needs to be times. I need to tidy this up so much. I should like have everything in one place. But this needs to be timed by 60 as well. So 6 on 6. Okay, that's still slow. Wait, that's because this was slow, right? This was slow, and I've just... Okay, so I need to double everything again. This was slow. I basically just kept this speed. So... And everything right now is like very much... I just like tried some random numbers and it's like, oh, that felt good. So... 4.8. And then gravity needs to be doubled. So... 4.2... Okay. Oh, that's a big jump. That is not how big I wanted that jump to be. Okay, let me compare my numbers on here and there. So, I'm setting player velocity to -12 per second, basically, because then over here I'm dividing by number of frames per second to get how far it should go per frame. So then on the Mac, the previous version that I had was setting it to where even is it? There it is. -0.1. I hadn't doubled that yet, so it should be 12, which it is 12. So my MacBook is running 120 frames per second, and I was setting it to 0.1, so that is 120 per second. So that's right. Why is my jump so high? So maybe gravity's just low. Wait. My jump isn't as high as it... Did I somehow like do 2 jumps? Maybe I did that. Because my collision horizontally isn't working yet. But still it's higher than I'm intending. Yeah. It's still not quite right. Gravity feels low? Gravity feels low. So gravity was that at 120 frames per second. So per second we want 0.42, which is exactly what that is. Am I getting confused because this is acceleration? Do I have to... Because it was effectively like per frame. So right now gravity is being added to this. Wait, that is totally wrong, right? I shouldn't add that much. I should add... In a single frame, I want to add the amount of velocity that should be gained in a frame. The amount of velocity that should... If only I'd started like this would be less confusing. The amount of velocity that should be gained in a frame should be basically double whatever I was doing on my MacBook, which was that. So in theory I want to end up at that number, right? Okay, so I basically in theory want to end up at 0.07, but that's going to be even less gravity. But the problem is that that's per second, right? So no. So double that times... times 60. Which is what I had, right? Equal to 2. Okay, why isn't that right? Let's compare some numbers. I guess what I want to do is compare. The problem is running at a different rate. That's fine. Let's just compare the player position, I think. been a while since I've implemented basic physics. Over here. Okay. So I just jumped on my MacBook where the behavior is as I want it. I just jumped here. Wait, why is my velocity here? Oh gosh, there's so much stuff I have to do actually. It's interesting that my final velocity is at 13.5, which there's supposed to be a thing here that says, so this is basically my collision with the floor. It should be setting player position to that. Oh, except, wait, what am I doing here? Oh yeah, that's fine. Oh, I'm comparing the wrong things. Whoops. Whoopsie daisy. It's position, not velocity. Okay. Let's do velocity actually. I'm going to compare velocity. That's why. Okay. Jump. Okay. Oh. Ah. Velocity. Go. Alrighty. So for every two of these, no, for every one of these, there's two of these. So after 2 frames on my MacBook, I'm at, oh gosh, one of them's per second, the other one's not. Let me times by, where is it? Times by 120 on here, okay. So in 2 frames of this, I'm at 11.16 as my velocity. 11.16? Oh. Okay, these numbers are exactly the same. So there's a mistake here. So basically everything's half as slow. How did I end up with that though? How have I ended up with it being half as slow? Although, hold on. Oh. Oh. No, because this is every frame. Yeah, okay. So basically the jump is just taking twice as long. So gravity is a factor of 2 out for whatever reason. Or did I just do some maths wrong earlier? Yeah, that's exactly how it feels on here. Was I just a factor of 2 out? How did I mess it up? So gravity started in the MacBook version as 0.0035, which is the number I've got there. And that was change in velocity per frame. So to turn it into a change in new velocity per frame, I have to get it into seconds. Oh, ooh. Change in new velocity per frames, so times 120. Why is it double that? In theory, I should be like doing that again, right? Timesing it by 120 again. And then dividing it when I apply it. 50.4. There we go, that's why. Okay, cool. So I should actually be setting that to get it into per second squared, got it, is 50.4. And then when we apply the gravity here, we should be dividing by FPS. Okay, I was getting all mixed up. Now it's the same. Hey, our gravity's working. Cool. And it's frame rate independent. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I'm still a little bit confused about whether that timestamp is actually the right timestamp to be using. I guess it is. Is there like a... Does it have a diagram that illustrates what exactly is meant? Type a decimal number in milliseconds with a minimal precision. The function to call when it's time to update your animation for the next repaint. This callback function passes a single argument indicating the end time of the previous frame's rendering. So basically it's like almost now, because my code will start running, it's like almost now. So that's, no, that's right. Okay, cool, we're good. We are good. Because you're always rendering based on the time that the previous frame took, because you don't know how long the current frame is going to take. Alrighty. Cool. So I guess next thing... Oh, interesting, I just saw myself dip into the ground a little bit. Next thing is... I could do some tidying up, or I could do my horizontal collisions. Because I shouldn't... Basically, I shouldn't be able to do this jump. This is not intended. It's almost like I'm climbing up, though. Basically got a climbing feature by accident. But the reason that's happening is because I've got no horizontal collisions. Like right now I can just walk through the wall. There's also other things I'm going to need to fix as well, such as the fact that I cannot fall down like this gap because I'm basically, for my ground collision, I have like two probes going out on the left and the right, going downwards. And you'd have to get a very specific position for this to not... I'm actually not sure there is a position where those probes wouldn't just always hit the floor. I think it might be impossible to literally to actually fall down that hole. But yeah, hey, at least I've got a bit of jumping going on. Okay, so next, I kind of feel like the horizontal movement should be a bit faster. Let's actually move that out. So walk velocity, we'll call it. I'm not being consistent about whether I'm... Okay. Walk velocity 4.8. What's this? I don't even remember what this is. This is basically friction, although it also happens in the air, so it's, I guess it's air resistance. I'm just going to call it friction. Friction, which was 48. Where was it? Here. Oh no, 0.48. Cool. Neat. So let's turn up our walk velocity a bit. What should we go for? 6? They're just arbitrary numbers. They can be whatever I like. That feels alright. Maybe too fast. 5.5. Okay. Cool. That might end up feeling a bit too fast eventually. But for now, that'll do. Coolio. I've got like, so yeah, when I stop pressing the key, there's like pretty high friction, although that's not as high as I'd like it. Let's tune that up as well. Maybe 0.7. That feels better. I want it like barely noticeable. I still want a little bit of like sliding, but like barely anything. It might still be too much. I'll figure out later when the actual game plays in. Okay, horizontal collisions. Let's do that. We don't have to log this anymore. In fact, let's commit. Where's my terminal? Over here. Split. Okay. Frame rate, independence. That's nice that macOS had a 120 frame rate to make me actually fix that problem, because I was gonna just ignore it. I was gonna just assume everything's running at 60. Turns out they don't. Alrighty. Horizontal collisions, let's do it. Also my downwards probing's a bit awkward. We'll tidy it up later though. Basically all my physics is happening here. Yeah, this is my physics. And then I render the game, then I request another frame. So then 16 milliseconds later or 8 milliseconds later, this runs again. Let's just keep working on the physics in here, that's fine. So, that is my downwards probe. Basically, I increase the player velocity. Oh, so interestingly, I don't move the player yet. So I'm doing the probe before I've moved the player. Which is fine. Yeah, okay, so what's going to happen is it's going to wait until it goes round to the turn where the player is slightly embedded in the floor. And then at this point it's going to go, yeah, the probes are in the ground. It's going to set the velocity to 0 because we've landed on the ground. And then it's going to position the player. So the player's position is the top left corner of the player, which at first, no, that's not true. The player's position is the middle of the player. Yeah. But then each cell is represented by like, it's like 0, 0, 0, 1, etc. No, yeah, 0, 0, 0, 1, going down like this. So the left probe, let me remind myself what I did, is it's basically 0.5 over this way. So if this is like 8.5, and the probe's at 8, and then down, and then we check if there's anything in that position. Yeah, that makes sense. We check if there's a wall there. Okie dokie. Of course, to fall down this, we could just like make this like a little bit less. I might actually just test that, see how that works out, because I think the character is actually going to be slightly thinner than the thing. So I just want to check if that fixes like this issue. Yeah, okay, I can suddenly fall down because, well, that's still awkward. Ugh. I think I'm gonna I think if you want to make nice physics, you have to do a lot of like manual little edge casey things. You're like, oh, well, if you're walking above a gap like this, then let's just assume you want to fall down there if you're at a certain speed or like below a certain speed. But yeah, okay, at that speed I can fall down. Alrighty, but I'm gonna move that back for now. That is a potential way forward though, for that. Okay, so the thing is, these two are the same, so I don't really need to have both. The other thing I've done here is I've said only do the downwards probe if I'm falling downwards. Which has this interesting effect where if I jump into this like wall, while I'm going upwards nothing happens, but as soon as I hit the like peak of my jump, I start falling downwards, I snap upwards. Obviously that shouldn't happen though, because the other collisions should stop me from being in the wall, so I'm not sure whether to worry about that. I'm just not sure if like maybe because of like floating point precision, if I like jump into the side of this wall and I collide against it, is it possible that my downwards probe will still check whether I'm in the wall and then push me up? I guess I'll just do it and then we'll see what happens. The other thing I can do there, which is probably sensible anyway, is just make sure that this is never shifting me that far. Like, there should never be a reason for that. I'll never be falling so fast that I'll ever be that deep into the thing. Well, unless the frame rate goes really slow. And then we jump like a far distance than a single frame. Physics is awkward. Okay, let's just do sideways collisions. I've basically got this level data thing, which I can just like look up. It's Y then X, but I can look up like what's in that cell. Right now, each cell is an array with a bunch of things in it. So I'm basically just saying if there's anything in that cell, we'll count as colliding against it. This is temporary until I actually sort out the level data a bit better. But okie dokie, let's basically repeat this, but like sideways. And to avoid like repeating ourselves, what I'll do is I'll do like a constr of -1 and 1, and we'll just like times things by -1 if we're going to the left and 1 if we're going to the right. So when we have like an up probe, we'll call it, which is X position is going to be basically this, and its Y position is going to be, it's possible I could probably combine these two, although I'm expecting these two to end up with slightly different logic in them, so I'm not sure I want to combine them. Whereas left and right collisions will always have the same logic, so it's fine to keep those as one thing. Oh, I need to make sure I'm doing plus 0.5 times dir. And then this is going to be player position Y minus 0.5 plus, no, always minus 0.5. And then we're going to have a root, a down probe as well. So that's going to be the same, but that's going to be plus. That's the correct two positions. And then we basically do a similar thing. There's no way I've done this correct, but whatever. So if my velocity... Ooh, hold on. I basically want to know if the sign of my velocity is the same as direction. Yes. But my x velocity. That is a function, right? Math sign. -1, cool. If that equals dir, and if either of the probes sees something, then velocity becomes that. And then that's going to be shifted by 0.5 times dir. Have I done that right? No way. Player just teleported. What is happening? Ooh, I wonder if we're encountering the floor. Yeah, we'll be encountering the floor. Or why do I end up like that? Hold on, am I setting the position X? Left probe Y. Hello, Super Uniform. We're doing something different today. Oh, not left probe. Oh gosh. The Y is the same for. Oh gosh, I'm doing lots of things wrong here. X. The X is the same for both of them. It is not. Of course, it's not. So if we're doing the rightwards collision, then we actually want to go the other way. Yeah, okay, that's fine. X is the same between the two probes, so up probe, X, but we want to actually do minus, I think. Okay, so I'm struggling to like move on the floor, but that's fine. Do I like hit the wall? Like enter the wall? I love physics bugs. Did I do that wrong? That's like sending me into the wall. So the up probe is like, if it's +1, the up probe, X position, which is like the cell, because we're rounding as well. So it's the cell position, minus 0.5. So it should be minus 0.5, that's right. Why am I going the wrong direction there? Up probe. So if dir is like 1, that should be rightwards, right? So that up probe's X position is the player's X position plus 0.5 times 1. Yeah, so we're shifting that way and we're flooring. Yep. That gives me like the cell that I'm checking. Up probe, down probe. This is my X velocity, that's correct. Player velocity X to 0. Player position X is up probe. Regardless of which direction I'm going, the up probe's X is the same as the down probe's X. Yes. I realize this is like slightly weirdly written, but still, that should be the same, right? How am I ending up in the wall? I've made a different game than I intended to. Also, it crashes if I go out the edge. What is happening? I'm so confusion. I mean, me too. Look at what's happening. What? I mean, so that behavior is because I'm not doing upwards collisions. Okay, what's happening there? Oh. No, so we're looping over these two things. I mean, I don't have to loop. I mean, why don't I just then... Yeah, if I only care about doing this in a certain direction, why am I bothering to do the loop? I can just say, like, sideways probe, dir, which will be the velocity, the sign of velocity. Okay, we don't need to loop. Bring this out. So then we have an up probe, down probe, which will be that way. All that way. The up probe is higher up, that's right. The down probe is lower down, that's right. We don't need that anymore. We do need to say basically if player velocity dot x is not equal to 0. Okay. Still colliding with the floor. Oh, dir is not defined, of course. I got rid of dir. Why don't I just call it dir then? Why do I snap into the thing? It must be this. I mean... What just happened? I do enjoy a good physics bug. Just like zooms off. So when I'm on the floor, it zooms off. It's because it's like snapping a lot. We're basically colliding a lot. And it's zooming me off that way. I could like draw on the probes. That would maybe help a little bit. So when I collide it, yeah, it snaps me into there. Do I have like an X and a Y mixed up or something? Those are the right way around. Everything should be X based. Y only shows up for like where I'm probing. Let's do some logging. Let's only log when the thing happens. When the thing happens, let's find out where our... Ooh. Oh, of course. Because the origin of the cell is like the top left. So adding 0.5 is just inside the cell. So I basically need to do... Ooh, depending on the direction... I basically need to do add 0.5 and then minus 1. Ugh. Add 0.5 plus dir. Still flying away. Snap to the other side this time. So the position, I'm getting confused. Okay, so I need, basically the player's position is like, is continuous. So the middle of the cell is like 0.5 from the origin of the cell. So if that cell is like 8, 10, then the middle of that cell for the player's position would be 8.5, 10.5. If I'm moving leftwards, then the sign is going to be, that's just logarithm stuff. Dir, up probe Y, up probe X. Let's do it the other way around so I don't get confused. As well as... Oh. Let's also log player position X, player position Y, up probe. Let's log dir as well. Dir is dir. Console. Okay, let's try not to cause any... Hold on. Oh. Okay, what happened then? This collision here. Player was at 7.4, 11.5. So we probed 6, 11. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, that makes sense because I would have been like here, probing that space. 6, 11, dir is minus 1. So then we end up setting player velocity x to 0, sure. Player position x to up probe x. Probe x, which is 6. Plus 0.5, 6.5. Plus dir, which is oh yeah, okay. This is where I have to go the opposite direction. So minus dir. Okay. Ignore what happens on the floor. I gotta not walk along the floor because I go backwards. Okay. I hit the thing. There's a bit of jankiness with me like popping into the thing and then back out again. Oh gosh. Ah! I also pop upwards. Why do I pop upwards? Oh yeah, okay, I was expecting that. Yeah, that's... Oh, physics is awkward. Physics are awkward. Like what's happening there is that the ground probe is also detecting that it's a thing. I'm basically able to hang on the wall. Maybe that's a mechanic. Hey, I can just grab on. Okie dokie. Why isn't rightwards movement is working? It just doesn't do the same thing. Just zoom away. It just doesn't do the same thing. So will this collide? Yeah, it does collide. And then weird things happen. Okay. Hey, I feel like we're a step closer. Alrighty, so what's the proper way to deal with this? Well, first of all, why do I pop in and then back out? Why is that different to falling to the floor? Because I should never see myself... I never like see myself falling to the floor. Oh gosh. Because I wonder if it's just a rounding thing. It might be an awkward rounding thing. Should I have done everything in terms of pixels instead of cells? Yeah, maybe. Like what I could do is that floored plus the 0.5 and it might be a bit nicer. No, what happens on the floor? No, it's the same. Okay, so you see me pop in and then pop back out. However, like what should happen is anytime I'm like intersecting the thing, I should be shifted back out immediately before we render. So how am I even being in that position basically? Because this should be setting the position back to there, which it is. I can see it flicking back. Oh, because then I changed the position here. But by the velocity, which is 0 at this point. Yeah. Okay. Why am I able to see the time that I'm like embedded in the wall? I'm holding left right now, by the way. That's what's going on here. I'm holding left. I guess there just must be a position where I'm like in the wall. Can I stop in that position? Maybe not because of the like, what if I say, so there's the place where I'm doing like the friction. Well, if I just go straight to 0, so I'm never like, I just immediately stop. I wonder if I can just embed myself in the wall. Yeah, okay. Ugh, rounding errors. Okay, cool. So there's a position that the player can be at. What is that position? We should probably log it and find out. Is it like slightly less than half? Let's just do it here. Console log, player position X, player position Y. There we go. I'm embedded. Console. Let's have a look. Yeah, 7.4. Okay, so it's curious that 7.4 minus no, sorry. Yeah, minus 0.5 is not triggering the probe. I wonder if like the top one is like hitting that space, because that position is 11.5. Well, yeah, because that is being set by the 11.5 is happening because I'm hitting the ground. Oh, hold on. So I'm hitting the ground. Are these two things like interfering with each other in some weird way? Because that's changing my Y position. Should it matter? I mean, I should probably collide sideways first, although that feels kind of arbitrary, but I'm going to do it. Swap them around. No, I can still embed it in. Okay. So basically, why does that not trigger the probe, is the question. Level data, so up probes. I mean, I should log those basically. This is going to get very noisy. Up probe. I mean, okay, I've got them there. Just move them out. Okay. Remove that one. Okay. Okay. It's going to get very noisy. Embed. There we go. I'm embedded. Oh, it's not noisy. Oh yeah, because my velocity is 0. Okay, cool. Oh, wait, what? Oh. So I've got a door there. Player 7.5. I wonder if it's just a rendering thing. I'm to the 7.4s. Let me... okay. No, I do want to move this outside. But I can't. No, I don't want to move this outside. I basically want to find out why this isn't... Well, this isn't triggering because that's... because I'm not moving. If I am moving, it triggers. I mean, should I just always do this check? There was a reason I didn't do this. Well, the big reason is that I'm going to fly off to the side. Okay, what I'm going to do is not do the down check so the floor doesn't collide. Like the lower check. I shouldn't have called it down. Okay. I still embed. Okay, I'm embedded. 7.4. Okay. Yeah, it's logging like crazy right now. 7.4. The up probe does 7 and 11. So it's probing this space. Up probe X. Probe X. Player position X, 7.4. Plus that times that, which will be -1, so minus 0.5. So is this... There's no way that's not representable though. Maybe at that... Oh, sorry, this is flawed. Yeah, this is flawed. So that plus 0.5 times -1 minus 0.5. And it's flawed. This will be a precision thing, right? Let's also log. No, I am logging that already. Probe pre. That's. I'm just going to do the X because that's all that really matters for me. Embed. Okay. Wait, it's the same number. Why is it the same number as the player position? Player position X. Oh, because this is 0, of course. But what about the turn when I embed? What's going on here? So the turn when I embed, I should be moving. So I'm moving. I end up inside. Should I be doing this after? I should be doing this after here, shouldn't I? I need to move, then check the probes, then move out. And because I've moved, this will be more than 0. Therefore, this will happen. Is that all I'm missing? That's all I'm missing. Okay, we're colliding. We're colliding. Oh, and the floor works. Yes. Does that make sense? Too much is working. Look, I collide into the side things. Woohoo. Oh. Oh, I turned off the lower probe. Okay. So this wait. Okay, no, yeah, that's why the floor's working, because I turned off the lower probe. Okay, yeah, there are still issues. I hit the side of that and it thinks I want to go up. It's interesting that it doesn't happen the other direction, but it probably does in certain positions. Oh gosh, this is so awkward. I could like lift the lower probe up very slightly. But hey, I can't get stuck on here anymore. That's nice. Do I ever want the lower probe to be... There's going to be like a better way to solve this. What's the better way to solve this? I'm on the ground. So I know that I don't need to... No, if I'm on the ground like here, I still need to collide leftwards. Lifting it up slightly feels like a hacky approach. What I want is, if I'm moving sideways, to check collisions sideways, but that's not end up probing. If I'm on the ground, I don't want that to end up probing the ground. What about a situation where like I'm on the ground? Like I'm just thinking about weird arrangements, like what if we had like this? In fact, I'm actually kind of curious what happens if we do this right now. Yeah, one of those is colliding, but maybe not both of them. I wonder if I can even get into that gap. I'm gonna have to do some things like, oh, if you're like pushing along a gap, have some like lenience about whether you can get in to make this feel good. Otherwise, this is gonna be kind of awkward. Okay, let's just lift up the thing. Let's just lift the thing up for a second. Very slightly. So the lower probe wants to be at something like that. Yeah, so now I can walk. Okay, but when I collide, when I like I'm embedded in the floor, that happens. Yeah, because it does the probe first, sideways, it'd just be sideways, and then also does the floor probe, and just me upwards. What's the right thing to do there as well? The right thing to do there is I just feel like if I swap them around again, I'm just going to have a different problem in the other direction. Is that true? I'm still tempted to do it. Oh wait, so I've got the floor probe first. No, I don't. That is the sideways probe. Okay, so now I don't get adjusted sideways, but now I presumably just have like a... What's going to happen is if I hit the wall, it's going to throw me upwards? Yeah, okay. Now I can grab onto the wall. Basically, I've always got like these two things fighting against each other, regardless of which way around I have it. So the solution is... So I'm moving sideways. It's doing the ground probe, but it should have moved me out of the wall first. Move me out of the wall first. But how do I decide? How do I decide which is the right one? Because either way around I have an issue. Because when I'm falling into the floor, shifting sideways first just shifts me along on the floor. I keep thinking like, oh, I should just like change the logic based on whether I'm falling or whether I'm going sideways, but I might be doing both. So that's an interesting question. What if I hit like a corner like this? I know I'm reinventing 2D platform physics here, but I'm doing it because it's fun. You hit a corner like that. So what I basically need to say is like, okay, find what collisions there are. Imagine I'm adjusted out on that collision. Does the other collision still happen? Probe before moving instead of after. So I had issues with that, didn't I? I just swapped that round, but now I don't remember why. That's all right. I think I had issues with that. And the issue was... Yeah, the issue with that is that... if I move after, then... Wait, why is that an issue? Maybe that was only an issue because of something else that's happening. Let's move both of them? Sure. Now I can't jump because... Yeah, now the issue is basically that I can get embedded in the wall like this. And that's because... on the turn that I move and end up in the wall, we're not checking, we render, it loops around, we then check, and then we get pushed out, and then it renders. So that's the issue with doing that afterwards. Of course, however, I think your suggestion would be then, what you should do is project forwards, basically go, okay, where will I be? And test on that. But isn't that equivalent to just like moving and then pushing backwards? I think so. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move and push backwards, but I need to do something clever about like checking the probes after I definitely don't need to check this if player velocity isn't if player velocity X is not X 0, okay. Then we do this. Okay, right, so this is the current situation, but I need to like shift out. It doesn't matter whether I shift out, does it? It does matter whether I shift out. I need to shift out and then check the other one. It's like I need to recheck the other probe after the shift has happened, otherwise, yeah. Because like the reason this works this way around is because like the downwards probe, let me label these, otherwise I'm gonna get so confused. This is the floor probe. And then this down here is the wall probe. Even though I'm considering these all walls, but whatever. I'll say sideways probe. So the reason I can like jump on the floor and have no problems is because the floor is adjusting me upwards before it's doing the sideways probe, therefore it doesn't adjust me sideways. But then if I jump into the wall, the floor probe is happening first, adjusting me up, and then the sideways probe is happening. So I need the sideways probe to happen, and then to recheck the floor probe. Does that make sense? That sort of makes sense. And then don't actually apply the changes until we've checked after the other one. It feels weird, but it also feels kind of right. So basically, save this as on ground. That's effectively what that represents. Although also, I guess that will always be there. Yeah, sure, on grounds. Okay, cool. And then we only do this later if on ground, but also if basically if this happens. Oh, this feels weird, but whatever. If colliding sideways false, colliding sideways true. If we are... I'm going to end up with some repeated code here, but that's okay. If we are colliding sideways, then we recheck the floor probe. I'm just going to repeat it for now. It's fine. It's totally fine. I need that to... that's fine. I can do... This is getting messy. It's already messy. It's getting worse. On ground. Let's on ground. And then if we're on the ground at that point, then we do that. What's this going to do? Okay. No adjustments this way. And I can't hang on the wall. I think I fixed it. I'm sure this physics is totally perfect. There are no problems. It's totally fine. Oh, something just happened. What just happened? Oh, it's still happening that way around. I mean, I know there's going to be problems with me jumping up because I don't have any upwards probes yet. So there are still problems with me getting snapped back when I go into the floor. What's happening there then? I don't have to repeat the other one again, do I? So what's happening? We're doing a floor probe first, which should happen. Okay, and we're on the ground. Then we're doing a sideways probe. Oh, yeah, because the sideways probe is obviously happening. Okay. Right, because I'm not adjusting upwards. The sideways probe needs to act on not the actual player velocity, not player position, but the adjusted player position after the floor probe. Do I need to like set adjusted player position or something? That might make a lot of sense. Let adjusted player position X player sure, I'll make it a copy, but it doesn't need to be, but whatever for now. Player position dot Y. Then what we're going to do is say if on ground. Oh, in fact, yeah, and then we can just make all this logic based on the adjusted. Just player position. Velocity doesn't get, velocity does get adjusted, but it doesn't matter. Oh, this is such a nightmare. Let's just do both, and then adjust the player velocity, and then at the end we'll just like update both of them to match the adjusted one. It's at least like a nicer way of thinking about it, I think, instead of like modifying the data as we go through. So we've got adjusted player position, we've got adjusted player velocity. So we're on the ground, so then we do, if we're on the ground, then we do this thing with the adjusted player velocity and the adjusted player position. Then the sideways probe should happen on those things as well. And the adjusted player position. Didn't actually change anything yet. Why am I doing it like this? Because I want to do this. For all insects, we move to be flush with the wall. Otherwise, yeah. So that's similar to what I'm doing. It's like inverting the other way around and then projecting forwards. But instead what I'm doing is like moving first, checking if I'm intersecting with the wall, and moving back before rendering. I think that should be equivalent, right? Maybe I'm just being silly. It has been a long time since I've done any physics stuff. Like, probably a decade. So the issue here was that because I wasn't changing that, because I wanted to recheck it later before actually changing it. Yeah, okay, no, this is good. This is good. So let's do all this on adjusted plane position. Let's get rid of these logs now. I say this is good. I don't actually fully believe it's good, but we'll see what happens. So now adjusted, everything's adjusted. And then if we were colliding sideways, then we double check for the adjusted player position. Yes. Just play velocity. Then I could do this where I put this all in a function and then I just return like the changes, but whatever. No, that's not the end, because then now this is us actually doing the changes. But do I need this at all? I must do. Wait, what is this? That is that, which we already did. I feel like I've just gone around in circles and then back where I was. So we're doing a floor probe. Adjusted player velocity will go up. Well, position will go up if we're in the floor. The sideway probe will then check, and it will go sideways if we're in the wall. If we're colliding sideways, we're going to recheck the floor. Yeah, we're just back where we were. Recheck the floor. Or are we? Maybe we're not. I think like basically if this doesn't happen, if this second floor check doesn't happen, we don't actually want to make the change that was made up there. But we do want to do this check on those change things. But I can't undo that. Yes, okay. It's forming in my head. So this needs to happen. It needs to So velocity X, velocity Y doesn't even get used in here, right? And notice there's just no, but Y does, right? Of course. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this. We're not actually going to keep the velocity. Yes, we are. Then we're going to make the sideways one actually affect the sidewaysness. the real stuff. But based on the adjusted. But then if that did something, we're going to recheck this. And recheck this. Using... Oh my gosh. I'm getting really tangled up in this. The thing that I want to do is make it so that the floor probe adjustments don't happen if we've adjusted sideways and we're no longer on the floor. But I want the floor probe adjustments to happen before checking sideways. Does that make sense? So we adjust upwards. Then we do the side, yeah, to avoid the issue where we like shift sideways. So we need to lift up, shift sideways. But the problem is going to be if we lift up, adjust sideways. Lift up, well, don't adjust sideways because we're higher up. So I'm thinking about the situation where we land on the floor. Lift up. Don't adjust sideways because we've lifted up. But then make sure we actually do lift up. And then in the other case where we hit the wall, the lift up will happen. Like that's the lift up will happen. We'll shift sideways and then we'll double check whether we actually want to get lifted up. Does this make sense? I'm so confused. Would this be solved if I did the projecting forward thing? If I were like falling and I projected forwards. Well, if I was falling and I projected forwards, I'd see that I'm like colliding with a wall as well as colliding with the floor. So the same thing would happen, only just sideways. Right, just do it like along a vector in the direction that I'm moving. Or maybe... That feels kind of uncomfortable though, because then... Well, it feels pretty uncomfortable. Because I don't just care what's like in that direction, I care what's to the side of me and what's below me. I think they do have to be separate, right? Turn this music down a bit more. Might help me think. Okay. Okay. It's also pretty late. What time is it? 10:30. So this is, obviously I'm not running the current code right now. So, okay, let me do some, I've got my whiteboard next to me. What am I doing? I've got my player, it's like intersecting, let's say both of the walls, or just the horizontal wall, or just the floor. Now, in the case where it is hitting the horizontal wall, what I actually want to happen is it goes, oh, I'm hitting the horizontal wall, and I go, sorry, the vertical wall. We're hitting a wall, sideways collision. Anything, we shift outwards. What's actually happening is, well, not right now, but what could happen if I do things wrong is it detects that there's floor to the bottom left of it, and it gets shifted upwards as well. That's bad. Don't want to shift upwards. The floor, similar thing can happen. With the floor collision, I want to be shifted upwards. But I don't want it to detect like a wall collision at the bottom and shift me sideways, so that's bad. In the case where I'm hitting a corner, then I want both shifts to happen. So if I'm shifting sideways, this is basically there's like a logic table here. If I'm shifting sideways, and after the sideways there's no floor shift, then I only want to do the sideways shift. If I'm shifting upwards, and after the upper shift there's no sideways shift, then I only want to shift upwards. If I'm shifting on both of them, then I'd want to do both of them. You think so? Do you think this is going to solve my problems if I project ahead? I just kind of feel like it's the same, isn't it? But maybe I'll save myself some trouble. I did think about projecting ahead earlier. I was like, well, why don't I just like let it happen and then adjust back out? Okay, so what's that logic table? So there's a table of like, does a sideways collision happen? Does a floor collision happen? If both of them happen, adjust both of them. Basically, I just need to find out what no, because like I have to then redo. Okay. So the logic is do both collisions, both sideways and floor. I'm gonna love when I have to put the ceiling into this as well. Do both collisions. If they're both there, just adjust them both. If it's just one of them, recheck the other one. How's He Who Watches going? What's the current status of that game? Not over Israel. He Who Watches. 2024. It's in Indiecade. Hey, look, through puzzle showcases there. I organised that. It was cool. I very much enjoyed the demo. Is it coming along well? Okay. So I think now that I've done on the whiteboard, I'm understanding better what I need to do. Okay, so what I could do is like make a function for each of these things. I'm just going to do it like inline for now. Floor probe. Taking. Really good actually. It's taken a bit longer than expected, but mostly due to work, plus moving across the country. Nice. So, are there any mechanics that you've changed from the demo? Were any of them like ones you didn't end up liking, you've ended up removing them? So let's just stick this in a, okay, I'm gonna make a function for probing the floor. And it's just gonna return whether we are hitting the floor or not. Oh gosh. So if we're hitting the floor, it's that. Okay. We're then going to have a function which is wall probe, which is going to be based on direction, but that's probably fine. Probably fine. Sideways probe. I would have needed to have split these into functions eventually anyway. So we're going to take this. Let's just do player velocity. Should I do player velocity there as well? Oh, let's figure it out in a second. Let's just take the whole thing, stick it in here. And then it's not that. Let's like keep that down here and comment it out so I don't lose it. Return this basically. Oh, and so if this is similar, right? Like, why do I bother doing that if let's just move this in here. Yeah, it's fine. Keep it simple for now. Keep it simple for now. So return that, so just so that these are symmetrical, and these. Okay. There's a sideways probe function. So what we're gonna do is, well, okay, so let's I don't know whether I need these, so let's shift everything back to, shift all those back, and then this also can go back to being player velocity. I think I'm gonna have to pass some things into this. There are a lot of new mechanics, but the biggest change is that I removed the real-time aspect. Interesting, if your arrow is flying or another block is moving, the player can't move. I think that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. That is what I would end up doing. Are you doing anything, like what I'd really recommend if you're doing that, is if the player tries to move while an animation is happening, make the animation go faster or skip the animation, like make the arrow hit the wall immediately if they try and move. That way the player can like still quickly input things as fast as they like without like being held up by the animations. And sometimes people just like queue up the inputs while the animation is happening, but that can end up being weird, especially if it's a long animation. You like press an input, and then at the end of the animation, something you pressed like a second ago happens. So I think the better thing is to skip. Best solution is definitely like speed up or skip or both. So like another thing you can do is like speed up the animations if there's like one thing queued, but there's like maybe speed up a bit more with the more things that are queued, and then if there's like 3 things queued, just like skip it or something like that. Probably the simplest is just to skip the animation if another key is pressed. Just like fit tween directly to 1 or whatever, the end of the animation. Like skip the tweening. Which is what a Monsters Exposition does. I think it does the the combination thing where it's like it gets faster, but then if you're going fast enough, it's just it's practically skipping the animation. It might even be literally skipping the animation and just jumping to the next cell. And depending on how you've implemented animations, it could be tricky to do that, but I definitely recommend it. It's what I'm going to do for this once I get to that bit. Because this will also have because the player movement is real time, but the actual mechanics are all going to be non-real time. So while those mechanics are happening and they're being animated, I want to prevent the player from being able to move, but I don't want to hold them up from actually inputting stuff. System-based instead of logic in code. If I were planning ahead for this, which I'm going to try and do for this, is what I would do is I would like build an animation system. Well, so the gameplay logic would happen on a grid in the discrete time unit, so it'd be entirely like turn-based. No animations whatsoever. Just update the game state in discrete steps. Then, this is my imagined way I'd architect this. I'd have like an animation system that receives like transactions. Like, here's like an animation you should run, with the ability to be able to like skip them and like cancel them and all that kind of stuff. So then when you input, what you do is you update the game state, you throw a transaction into the animation queue, and then you have some like connection between inputs and the animation queue and skipping the animations. So your basically your visual representation of the game can be continuous and animated, but it's like what the animation system is trying to do is get the visual representation of the game to catch up with the actual game state. And it's going like, oh, how far ahead is the actual game state? I better get moving. Yeah. I think it would be worth it, 100%. Like, it will just completely improve the game feel. It's like massively. Right, relies on raycasts. That's always scary. My example I always go to when people mention that kind of thing is in Kine, the game where you're like rolling the musical instruments around. There are musical instruments that are like a couple of blocks long or like 3 blocks long, and they rotate. And because I was getting like low frame rates on my laptop that I was playing on at the time, the way collisions were done were just by doing actual, as far as I can tell, were done by doing actual physics collisions. And because of the frame rate, the object was like skipping over the object it should have been colliding with, and it was just like allowing the game to move into a state that shouldn't be allowed because the collision wasn't happening. So yeah, that's like a good reason to like have a kind of game state grid. Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, that sounds fun. Better start it from scratch. Anyway, we've got floor probe, we've got sideways probe. These should be able to probe those directions. And so what I'm saying is we're going to do on ground floor probe. Right now we're not passing anything to it, it's fine. Okay, let's be consistent. Floor collision. Sideways, down collision. Sideways collision. Sideways probe. But then I called that floor probe. Okay, floor collision, sideways, whatever. This will all change once I've got upwards as well. So what I'm saying is, if both of them are happening, this is the simple case. Make the changes. Now the problem is I've lost the information I need. But I could return, rather than just returning true or false, I could return the adjustment. Basically the new X position or the new Y position. Because the velocity always gets set to 0 if we're colliding anyway, so I don't need to return velocity. Okay. So actually what I'm going to do is sideways probe if this, then just return the existing player position X. So nothing's actually going to move. Oh. Return null. This feels weird, but whatever. And then do I like this? I don't really like this. But I think I have to do this because I care about like whether there's a collision. I also care about where I'm moving to. If I were doing this, yeah. Basically, this is like an optional position. That's fine. So then why have I moved that up there? I guess that's fine. Okay, so if this, then return the new X position, which is going to be, what is it going to be? It's going to be what I copied down here, right? Sideways probe. The new X position is that. Okay. Not that. Ooh, sorry, that. Sure. Okay. Otherwise, return null. Let's do this the other way around then. Early exit. Okay. That's not quite right. There we go. Cool. Then similar for the floor probe. If this, let's just exit early. Oh, I've got that wrong, haven't I? If it is 0, return null. If this, for now, I guess I'll do less than or equal to, but once we put ceiling collisions in, this will probably just end up being symmetrical, right? Like with the same way the sideways probe is, maybe. Return null. If not this, I could De Morgan's law this, but whatever. Return null. Otherwise, return this, right? It's interesting that I'm flooring here. That's already floored. Oh, I think I did that earlier for no real good reason. Oh, let's leave that in for now. But okay. It's interesting that there isn't quite a symmetry here as well. What's going on there? I'll figure that out afterwards. Why do these have to be different? Surely the logic is the same in both directions. But we'll figure it out afterwards. So we've got floor probe. If floor collision, let's say does not equal null, and sideways collision does not equal null, then we update we actually update the player's position, right? Player position x equals sideways collision. We should give these a proper name, right? Oh, let's just leave it like this for now until I've got it working. Floor collision. And set both of the velocities to player velocity x equals 0, player velocity velocity y 0. Okay, if not, there's totally going to be a better way of writing this, but let's take the situation where floor collision is not null. If floor collision is not null, let me look back at the logic table. So we've only collided on the floor. we want to recheck the sideways collision. No, hold on. No, this is wrong. Hold on. In all of these cases, I'm always colliding on both. Maybe this is where the like projecting forwards would help actually. So I'm always colliding on both in all of these cases. What I want to check is, am I still colliding if I am only colliding on the floor, then yeah, sure, I only want to adjust upwards. If I'm colliding on both, oh gosh, if I'm colliding on both, I want to shift sideways, check the other one. Oh my gosh. I thought I was getting closer. If I am shifting sideways, because what I would do if I was projecting forwards is I'd like first project down. Well, not first project down. I project down, I project to the side. And I would see if I'm colliding. If they're both colliding, I would move in both directions. Yeah, this is the issue. I'm basically having to undo my movement in order to check whether I'm still colliding in the other direction. You're totally right. I should switch them around. I should project forwards. If I'm colliding when projecting forwards, then I shift. That does simplify everything massively, doesn't it? Because I'm not in the ground. Oh, it does. You're totally right. I should just project forwards. Okay. We're doing it. I'm projecting forwards instead. So this is coming down here. Oh gosh, what a mess this is right now. Can I get rid of this stuff? Probably colliding sideways. I do have that already somewhere. Left, no. Oh, that's the recheck for, yeah, okay. Let's just get rid of all this rubbish and this. Okay, we're adjusting this afterwards. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a projected player position. Oh, it does solve it, doesn't it? You're totally right. I had to like go through the logic to get there. Projected player position is going to be X player position X plus player velocity X. Wait, but I do adjust that before doing that. So actually that does need to happen earlier. Do the acceleration first and then do this projection stuff. Yeah, that makes sense. Is it just that? No, don't I have to divide by... Yeah, by FPS, okay. Yeah. Player position dot y plus player velocity dot y divided by FPS. projected player position, and then we're going to probe those. Let's keep it in this, so that's fine, that is the velocity we're moving at, but we want to check this, and then here we want to check this. Then and then we just make the adjustment, don't we? Doesn't this simplify things, everything massively? I just make the adjustment. If floor collision, I really need to tie this up because everything's quite confusing right now, but player position dot y equals floor collision. If sideways collision, then player position dot x equals sideways collision. Because yeah, in both cases I'm just returning the new position for the player. Does that solve everything? You wouldn't get into the position of being inside the wall if you do it first. Yeah. Yeah, I understood that. The thing I wasn't realizing is that the logic I was trying to unravel in my head was that I basically need to, like, if with the way I was doing it, I needed to kind of like roll back before doing the other collision. Whereas if I'm projecting forwards, I don't need to roll back ever. I just need to project forwards in both directions. Obviously, there's a bug right now, so let's figure out what's happening there. What is happening there? It's beautiful. Can I jump? I can't jump ever. I can move sideways while I'm falling through the air. Oh, I'm not. I mean, this is one issue. I'm not setting the velocity to 0. .y. Right. Player velocity .y equals 0. I mean, that might be the whole issue. Why do I still wedge into the wall? Maybe just because of the fact that I'm checking for the velocity. Yeah, that was the issue I had, right? The issue was that I was ending up in the wall. So yeah, so why don't I just not do this check? Still the same problem. Also, I'm snapping on the floor. Player position, X. Oh, hold on. Oh, there's a mistake here. X velocity. But still, it's not going to fix everything. No! Maybe this will be easy to figure out, though. Oh, wait, hold on. Floor collision. No, left probe is based on the projected player position. That's fine. And that's effectively what we end up setting this to. Yep. Yep. Okay. So basically, we've gone back to where we were. Maybe. So why is this happening? So why this is happening because we are. Oh, because I'm adjusting. I don't want to adjust until after I've done both of the probes. It doesn't affect anything. Oh gosh, I ended up on top. I know why that's happening though. I'll just make wall climbing a mechanic and then we don't have to worry about anything. So what's happening is we're projecting forwards, and in that projected forwards, Yeah, it's the same problem, right? In that projected forwards, we're colliding in both directions, in like both the floor and the sideways, because we're like embedded in the wall and we're seeing the wall as a floor. So I still need to do like a, oh, if I, okay. If I project forwards, I'm colliding in both places. Which I will be. Yeah, we're just in the same place. Of course we are. Like I said, it's the same. It's equivalent, I think. But what I can do is project not forwards in both directions, forward only. That's what I'm missing. That's what I'm missing. I need to probe. I need to project for the floor probe. Just project downwards. No, that's what I'm doing. No, that's not what I'm doing. The floor probe. Yeah. Oh. Okay. Yes. So, okay, I'm just going to go back to my whiteboard. So let's say the thing is here, it's next to the wall, project into the wall. Then that would move us out that way. Yes, that's what I'm doing wrong. That's what I'm doing wrong. This needs to be, for the floor probe, we need the X to stay as the normal actual player position. And then all the way around for this. Oh, finally! Finally! Thank you for your help. I think inverting it did make things easier. Because yes, without projecting forwards, I would have to rewind back to get like the original position to be able to cast outwards. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So yes, it was definitely good to invert it this way. Okay. I hit the side of that. Perfect. Okay. The fact that I climb on there is not good, but I can deal with that later. But that's a separate issue. Actually, why does that happen? That happens because, well, because the floor collide is happening. The floor, yeah, okay, the floor collide is happening. Why doesn't it happen on this side though? Let me put in some more things in the level. Let's do like this here. Wait, what are those things? Oh, whatever, okay. This is probably just a rounding error thing. I can still jump up through things. That's fine. It's closer to the kind of physics I'd want. Oh, okay. And because of the collisions on the right, I can still climb up on the right. So that's the next thing to figure out, is why is that rightwards slightly different, right? To a leftwards. I think I can sort of imagine why, but let's go through it. So we're probing to the right. Player velocity is plus. I mean, should I always just do both? A left probe and a right probe? Because right now, I think this would probe and say I'm in there. Or maybe it wouldn't. Maybe that's the issue. Okay, let's find out. Do we have a sideways collision right now? Let's go over here. Let's wedge into the wall. No, we don't. Okay. So there's the issue. This is not technically a sideways collision, but the probe on the right is... the floor probe that's on the right is slightly in the wall. Okay. So even though the sideways probe is pushing us back out... So what's the state, what's happening in this situation? So even though we've been pushed back out to, ooh, did I mean to leave that as that? I guess I did. Sure. In fact, actually, how does that now behave? I think that I'll still be stuck on the floor, right? Yeah, I'm stuck on the floor if we do that. So it's a bit awkward, so I'll think about that later, but we'll leave that for now. I can only grab onto the right-hand walls. So the issue is that that's embedded in there. So the floor probe, right probe, terrible naming, this must be rounding to the next cell over. Yet the sideways probe, even though it's doing exactly the same maths, although it's not, it's the projected. But the projected won't be going anywhere because I'm not shifting that way. But still, so then, since the projector's not going anywhere, this should be equal to the player position. So therefore, this should be exactly the same maths, because but that's 0. Yeah. Should there not have been a moment where... Then that's up probe X, that's that cell, minus dir so it'd be +1. Wait, what? How is that right? Up probe. Which won't even be over here because of the dir. Yeah, am I making this terrible by making it based only on this? But I do only care about pushing outwards if I'm moving. Yeah, like why would I care about probing ahead if I'm not moving anywhere? So let's go back to saying if player velocity x equals 0, then return null. And then similarly up here. Okay, we still have the same thing. So there is a time when, so I'm definitely getting like shifted back out to 0.5. The sideways probe is happening. Sideways collision. Here. Thanks for the help. Hopefully when you look back, I will have gotten the physics perfect. Okay, collision. Where's that other log that I'm doing there? Ah, the sideways collision here. Yeah, okay, null. See it. New release date will be 2025. I guess if I wasn't logging that, I'd be able to see what I'm doing a bit better. Okay. So there's a bunch of collisions while I'm like slowing down. if I hold right, yeah, more collisions happen. That makes sense. Every frame. So this is happening. I'm getting set back to what? The number that it was printing before, but it was too much of it, so I couldn't see it. So getting set back to 22.5. That feels right. Now, what's happening then is in this state, I don't want the floor probe to be doing anything. I'm basically not on the ground. I shouldn't be on the ground. But right, of course, if this goes forwards by plus 0.5, although it's projected, remember that. And it's projected from the current position. But the current position is exactly halfway, and so going forwards by 0.5 puts you right there on that edge, and therefore it's going to floor and be that cell. Yes, that makes sense. Okay. And so the asymmetry there is due to the rounding. And so, I mean, a nasty fix is just do slightly less. That's a nasty fix. There's a better fix. What's the better fix? This will be similar to why I wasn't falling into that hole earlier. Yeah. Because I would have been colliding on this. Okay. But yeah, basically I've got hole number, I'm running to there, which is checking this cell. I'm running up, that's checking the cell over. Maybe the fix is just bringing it in very, very slightly. That feels super nasty though. It's almost like if it's right on the whole number. If it's right on the whole number. I mean, I could do it. Oh, it feels wrong. Like, I want to know if I'm in the cell, not like at the edge of the cell. Yeah, that's the issue. But then when I have issues like on the floor where I'm like, where I'm at the edge of that cell. Oh, okay, so the right hand probe should, so for the floor probe, there's two probes, there's left and right. The right hand probe needs to treat a whole number as being in the previous cell. So maybe that needs to that needs to seal, and then -1. Yes. Yes. That feels like the right solution. Maybe. So I'm saying when I'm doing the floor probe, this is going to be symmetric here as well in some way. But when I do the right probe, what I actually want to do is for X do seal that -1. Then anything in a cell and up to the next whole number will count as for the previous cell. Now I can't climb up, which is exactly how it should behave. I think I did it clever. Yep. Cool. I presume, yeah, the same should be true down here. Although this is awkward because the direction changes as well. Like upwards and downwards. Yeah. There's going to be awkward things when I like jump into corners. Let's put me, so I currently land there, don't I? So let's make, oh, how do I multi-select on Linux? I can't? Whatever. Okay. I guess there's no real issue here. Except maybe if I make a hole here, there might be. I'm expecting something here to cause an issue. It's working too well. I don't trust it. I don't trust it at all. Okay, let's do some cleanup. Oh, we need to bring the friction back. That should be fine. Friction shouldn't affect anything anymore. Okay, I definitely have more of an understanding of what I'm doing with this physics code now, I think. Physics, collide, collide, there we go. Ignore that, that's because I still don't have an upwards collision. It's like Super Smash Brothers physics, where you can jump upwards through platforms but not downwards. So that's interesting. What's happening there is, I guess if I jump, how am I making that happen? Oh, so I have to be moving sideways as well. Yeah, so I get shifted out to the side. Okay. Alrighty. Like, I don't know if the asymmetry needs to be dealt with here. It probably does. It's with this, right? It's with these. Oh, that's this. It's this issue. Yes. Okay. So that just needs to be seal -1, and that fixes the floor issue. Yes. Okay. Cool. Instead of doing that awkward 0.48 thing. All right. Relearning how to implement physics. Wonderful. It's frame rate independent. We have sideways collisions and floor collisions. That's great. This code is nasty as all hell, but whatever, it works. Upwards, then? Can I just do it as an inversion of this? Probably, because these are just like these two are just inverted from each other, so why not just have these two inverted from each other? I think so. Let's see what happens. Let's just do it. Direction. So falling is plus. So yeah, just times dir. Just times dir. Anything else I need to do? Is that everything? No. What was that? Oh, hold on. This needs to change, right? Yes, okay. So yeah, there's an asymmetry here as well that is clearly wrong. So let's put the floor in both of them, I guess. And then plus that. Oh, it works. It works. It actually works. Ah, 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 ah. I keep trying to like control click on this like I can do in puzzle scripts. Can I fall down here? I can. Oh, it actually worked. Okay. Gosh, that took a while. Do I need like coyote time? Maybe. Oof, oof. I just got caught on the edge. Oh, that's kind of awkward. That's a classic physics problem. So it's quite easy to get caught on the edge, on the corner. That's why often the default collider in game engines is like rounded at the corners. Okay. Okie dokie, this is like mostly working. There's also an awkward thing of like, if I press up and the thing's like just above me there, feels mean that it doesn't let me jump, or doesn't like still do the jump anyway. It's almost like if I hit a thing above me immediately at the jump, it should like keep checking whether it can jump for just like a couple more frames or a few more frames. It's like I'm pressing like left jump, but like I guess if it weren't a circle, I probably wouldn't be doing it so early. But still, I feel like it could be lenient just to feel good. Alrighty, let's commit that. That mess of a physics system. Did I zoom in on this? No. Okay. Comments. Collisions. Okay. Is that like still too slippy? It might be still too slippy. Friction 0.8. Yeah, that feels fine. So that's the distance where I can get caught on the corner, right? Let's do it. Let's get caught on the corner. And let's think about once I'm there, what's the cause of that? Maybe it's actually not doable leftwards due to an asymmetry. Let's do it rightwards and see if I can just do it straight away. Nope. There it is. So it's only while I continue to hold right, and if I let go, so what must be happening there is that the floor is, I'm colliding rightwards and the floor is colliding? Isn't it like basically the same? Can I make it happen here? Yeah, there. There. Jump right, jump right, jump right. Jump right. I made it happen for a second. I have to like get the exact frame where I'm like at that corner. There. So I guess what would be good if I was logging what's going on there. They must both be colliding. That's kind of awkward. Like in this case, they should both be colliding. But not in that case. Oh. Oh no. okay, it's fine. My packing stream earlier just got copyright claims. I guess it has music in it, but is going to get copyright claims. Fortunately, it's not a strike, so it's fine. Alrighty, so I need to figure out what's going on here and what the best solution is to it. So, where's my physics? My physics is here. Probably they're both colliding, would be my guess. Console log, floor collision. Console log, sideways collision. There's no longer a floor collision, so that's a bad name. Wait, what's that other log I'm seeing there? Oh, it's the floor collision, yeah, of course. Oh, I should have labeled them. Floor, sideways. Okay, let's make it happen. There we go, it's happening. Floor 12.5, sideways 11.5. So yeah, I'm colliding into both because it's probing here and they're both adjust me up into that space. And that's fine, like in this kind of situation where there is actually something to the side of me. In this case, there actually isn't. But why isn't one of them... Like, what's the situation where this can even happen? Because I'm projecting forwards, right? And I guess gravity is happening. So gravity's going down. I'm holding to the right. I'm effectively projecting in those two directions separately. Projecting that way, checking if I'm colliding. Projecting that way, checking if I'm colliding. But in theory, because I'm being pushed back, because I'm being pushed back to there, the downwards one shouldn't be colliding. And actually, neither of them should be. I guess what I don't know here is whether there are times when I'm not colliding. So maybe I'll move these out. Wait, is it alternating between colliding and not colliding, or am I just always colliding in that situation? Come on. Oh, I had it. Come on. Nope. Come on. Nope. So hard to make it happen. I was actually better at doing it like here, wasn't I? There we go. Yes, it's alternating. Okay. So it's pushing me back. I'm not colliding. I'm moving both downwards and to the right. So I'm sort of embedding myself in the corner. They're both colliding. That's what's happening. Got it. Got it. What should actually happen in this situation is what? Would I rather fall here or rather land? I think I basically have to pick an option. I mean, so the general situation is anytime I'm moving like diagonally into something. So this could happen upwards as well. But it will never be a problem upwards because I'll then just fall. I could only do it if I had like upwards constant acceleration like I have with gravity. Okay. So the general issue is hitting a corner. And they're actually being spaced in the two directions I could go. Yes. So the solution for that is there we go. Solution for that is I mean, I could detect this particular situation if I wanted to. Again, that feels weird. But maybe it's fine. The thing that's interesting here is that I'm actually moving into the walls, whereas in most cases I can't do that. In this case, I am actually moving into that corner. I guess this is where the doing a velocity based, a directional projection would help, and not doing them separately. So let's say I cast in one direction, find no collision, cast in the other direction, find no collision. But I cast in both directions and find a collision. Why would I not just project in both directions to begin with? Because I needed to keep them separate. I needed to check one of the probes not projected, from my current position. One of the axes not projected forwards. Okay. Is that the solution? I'm basically moving into something. And my direction right now would put me in there. Yeah, it's kind of awkward because I don't want to do my initial probes just on my complete projected position, because then I have the issue where I can grab onto the wall and jump up it. But in this situation I sort of do. So in the situation where neither of them hits, we try it on the fully projected position. Is that right? That might be right. Let's change this to an argument that we're passing in. Position. Position. Or probe position. Alrighty, and then, so this is going to be probe position X. So for floor, I want to do the projected Y. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Position. And then all the way for the other one. So for floor, I want to send in player position X. Y, projected player position Y. Yep. It's late, folks. It's too late to be programming. Actually, in fact, what time is it? It is too late. I should stop soon. This needs to be projected. That needs to be the actual Y. So that should be the same, right? We've just got exactly the same code there. Everything's still working the same way. Yeah, look at that. That's fun. We like jiggle around on that one. That's not because of the change, right? That's just like, that would have been there anyway. Yeah, we're getting wedged on there. Okay. So, if floor collision, we do that. If that, if neither, I don't want to do an else here, right? Because then that would mean side collision only. So if they're both happening, I do want them both to happen, but I do want if neither. Okay. If no floor collision and no sideways collision, then I think we want to redo the collisions. But on... Maybe I just do a floor probe and then just upwards, and then I think we'll move sideways in that case. That, I think, is right. So floor collision on the fully projected thing. If we have a floor collision in that case, then we do this. Is that right? Okay. That's going to be hard to tell because it's hard to even recreate the situation in the first place. But if I do it for long enough and I don't notice it being a problem, I'm going to assume I fixed it. That kind of felt like it would have been the situation. Let's get rid of this. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling pretty good about this. So basically, if you hit the corner, you go up onto the ledge. That feels nicer. You don't want to punish people for having like a pixel perfect jump. This isn't even a precision platformer, but I still want it to feel good. I can't make it happen. What about the other direction? I think we might be okay. It's not happening. Okay. I'm happy with that. That's enough testing for me. If it just happens at some point, we'll fix it when it happens. Git commits, fix, corner collisions. How high do I jump? I jumped that high, so I should also test the other kind of corner collision. Up here, let's get rid of that and that. Put that in. Okay. Because that could do something weird. That would be a floor collision for some definition of floor. No, well, it'll just push me under the ceiling. It'll do the same thing. But I think I said before, and correctly, that this would never be a problem anyway, because like if I hit that corner, I don't still have upwards velocities. I'm never going to be like moving into that corner after hitting the corner. Yeah, because my velocity gets set to 0, and then it starts going down because of gravity. So it's asymmetric because of gravity. Okay, I'm happy with this. This is working. So, is it possible to make the jump? It is possible to make that distance jump, right? I think I've done it before. Or maybe it's not possible. I don't really care. It's not going to be a game about like understanding how far you can jump. As long as I like make it clear that, like, as long as I don't leave anything in the game that where it feels like you'd have to make that jump, so people keep trying it. Okay. Feels good to me. Okay, got some basic platformer physics working. What do I do next? What should be my next task after this? Get some more objects in the game. Sort out, I mean, I could do some like coyote time stuff. What else is there? I mean, get like more art in the game. I've done a bunch of the pixel art already. Oh, I said that jump is doable, just really tricky. Maybe I want to adjust the numbers slightly so it's like more obviously not doable. But I mean, you're always going to be able to make a weird like jump distance that is like just at the edge. I'm not sure I can come up with a number that is like perfect in every case. Yeah, whatever. I'll adjust later if it ends up feeling like a problem for the actual puzzle layout. Okay. What next then? Yeah, other than that stuff. I felt like there was more on my list, but I guess maybe all I had was to sort out my physics, my jumping physics. Well, I guess there's also, okay, so I guess once I start putting more objects in, there's going to be boxes, and boxes can be pushed, and then those are grid-based. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, indeed. I mean, should we just get boxes in, like, quickly? Not pushable, but, like... objects. Like, this is all done in a pretty horrible way right now, but whatever. Box. Insert. No. So when I'm loading the level, which is down here, it's going to push the right thing. Well, actually, so maybe all I have to do is make the render a different thing. So for walls, I do that. Well, no, I don't actually check. So basically set the color based on what the thing is. If there's something to render, I guess render each thing for now. That's what I'll do. It's fine. For const object of that array, set the color based on that object. This is going to be nice and awkward for now. If object equals objects wall, then it's that. Otherwise, we do like a nice blue color. That's green. We do a nice green color. It's late. Okay, we have boxes. Woohoo. Which we can't push. We'll do that tomorrow. Am I going to do some tomorrow? Maybe in the evening. Maybe in the evening. Oh, also, okay, that's another thing. Yeah, that's something I mentioned earlier, is that I need to figure out how I'm going to like allow some jumps like that. Like, well, that's doable. That's nice. It's actually very surprisingly easily doable. Maybe because of my thing I just did to like say, oh, lift me up if I'm hitting the thing. But this is much harder. It's probably doable. Maybe. Also, yeah, there's some just slightly annoying things with the physics. I could spend ages like tuning these physics. Like, so I'm like pressing up and holding right, and then letting go, but I'm not actually moving right because I'm hitting the wall, and it's the same issue I mentioned before of like walking out from under a ledge and pressing up to jump. I think it needs some like leniency. Anyway, yeah, I'm not sure I can actually get into that gap. It will be doable in some very specific case, I think. Maybe. Like if the alignment's perfect. But I need to make it possible. Or just never have gaps like that. I think I want to make it possible though. What would my logic be for that? It would be kind of a weird special case where what's the specific situation happening here? Some leniency when it comes to, especially when like I'm above, like I kind of want it to be that if I'm holding left while colliding in with that top bit, it should allow me to go in. So basically like look for a gap and go into it as long as I'm not going too fast or something. I might just special case it. That can be a job for tomorrow, maybe. Alrighty. Okay, that's enough for today. Woohoo, physics. Thanks for watching, those of you still hanging around. I'll continue on this maybe tomorrow evening. We'll see. Good night. Bye-bye.